Samsung unpacked today the Z Flip 6 and the Z Fold 6 and a few other devices, and to be honest, it was boring and embarrassing. This is going to be a short video. Stick with me. So the event was actually an hour long, which was actually 30 minutes longer than it really should have been. The main features on this, or anything new, would be the Ring and the Watch Ultra. Now, if you're interested in the smart device, the ring that you wear on your finger that will track your sleep and your health and things of that nature, that's great. You can get that. They can tell you all about it. I would recommend watching the video. So for the first 15 minutes, you'll get a dose of that. And the price on the Ring, they start out at around $399, and they come in 3 different colors, I think a little bit in design. Then they talked about the Watch Ultra, and they just barely mentioned the standard watch and its prices. So the Watch Ultra, again, it's going to be similar to that of the iPhones, but probably a lot more toned down. But they are talking about having the satellite ability for emergency connections and the ability to use it in different climates, and also having a 100-hour battery life if you have it on battery saver. So the Galaxy Watch Ultra starts out at $649, or you can go with the regular Galaxy watches that start out at $299 for the Bluetooth version. And then of course it goes up from there if you get the cellular version. So that's really all they had when they talked about new devices. Now, for me, having the watch, I don't see a need for a Ring. That's just another $400 that they want to suck out of you to get into the ecosystem. But as far as I can tell, the Ring doesn't have any additional functions than what the watch has, and the watch has multiple additional functions that the Ring doesn't have. There was also a mention of earbuds. Their Earbuds Pro changing a little bit, more of the style of the Apple AirPods, which have that little stem on them. So they're able to add a little more intelligence into it to make it a little bit better earbud than the previous models. So if you want to watch the video, check that out. I recommend you do. So there's the Galaxy Buds 3, which are $179, or you can get the Galaxy Buds Pro 3, which are $249, and give you just a little more extra features. Now to the main event, which would be the Z Flip 6 and the Z Fold 6. As far as those two devices go, there are really no changes other than a re-engineered hinge to make them a little thinner, a little slimmer. So the two biggest things they were promoting, especially on the Z Fold, was lighter and thinner. Now, of course, I can't make that claim of being the thinnest device because it's not. It's just lighter and thinner than the Z Fold 5. A noticeable amount? I wouldn't say so. When you look at this, well, we can look at the hinges on these two. It's not going to be much more than what you see here between the OnePlus Open and the Z Fold 5. For me, not enough to get excited about, and definitely not enough to upgrade. If you have any other Samsung device like the S24 series, then you already have the updated chip, being the Snapdragon Gen 3. You know what? They didn't even mention the chip in the event. They just talked about its additional processing power, which is 40% faster MPU, 90% faster GPU, and 18% CPU. And as I explained in previous videos, you cannot feel or see the difference between that and the S24 series that has the chip already. Surprisingly enough, or maybe not so surprising, they did not even mention the cameras, which is kind of embarrassing because they just ignored it this year on their smartphones. Why? Because there's no change. So most of this video is talking about AI and their partnership with Google, and basically how Google's really the one behind all the AI processing, whether it be cloud or using Gemini on device. That all comes from Google. There was no mention of Bixby. Is Bixby gone? It sure seems like it. So it seems like they're going to switch over to using the AI power of Google. Now, to be clear, they did talk about AI in those phones, but guess what? AI is in these phones already, even on the Z Fold 5 or Z Fold 4. It's not worth the upgrade just for the AI. And they did talk about embedded AI, and they talked about how it's embedded in the Z Flip 6. But you know what? They also said in the future. In other words, shortly to come. So it's not there yet. So if you have the Z Fold 5 or 4, you're already performing everything you're going to get on the Z Fold 6. So in other words, they're betting on technology that's not quite there yet. So my suggestion is wait till the next foldable. Hopefully they'll actually listen to the consumer and improve the cameras and actually the size of the outer screen. And then it might be worth upgrading, but not on this one. So that's really it. There's nothing new, and everything that they're generating is coming from Google. So I say, let's watch for that next Google Fold, because the only thing that really changed on this device was the price. They upped the price $100 on both phones. And if you want to know about that trade-in value and what they're saying you can get up to $1,500 savings. Well, that's up to $1,200 trade-in value. So in other words, if you have a Z Fold 5 or a newer device, you can trade it in. They'll give you $1,200 on that. You get $50 if you pre-registered, and then $249 in free upgrade to the 512 gigabyte storage. Close to $1,500 in savings, but I say not worth it, because you're still going to pay $700 just to upgrade to the same phone. However, I don't want to undercut Samsung's ingenuity, because they are doing more things with AI, adding that Samsung touch with their UI. So if you really enjoy Samsung, well, maybe you ought to stick with them, but I would go for the Z Fold 5 rather than the Z Fold 6. I helped you out with this video. If you would, be so kind to smash that like button down below. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, because we're going to continue to provide more information on these newer devices as they come. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, God bless.